Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the League Racing TV YouTube channel for round 4 of TTML Division 3. My name is Aidan Carter, otherwise known as Carmentalist. I will be taking you through the proceedings as always. And as always, joining me in the commentary box today is TTG Conti. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, really good. Enjoying my holidays. How are you?
Yeah, doing very well. Enjoying my holiday too as well. Had a couple weeks off so far, so it's been good as well. Coming into round 4 of the championship, we're now moving on to what is probably one of the highlights of the seasons for good and bad reasons, I'd say, for a lot of the drivers in the field. We're moving on to Monaco for round 4. What are you really expecting today? Are you expecting anyone to be right at the front? Are you expecting some sort of drama today? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm really looking forward to some guys surprising us with some great overtakes because it is really difficult on Monaco.
Mm.
And besides that, yeah, I think just one little mess up and you mess up your wing and your race. So let's hope they can keep it out of the barriers.
Absolutely, yeah, that is one thing to look out for. Monaco obviously can really bite you if you make some sort of mistake. Such a narrow track, the oldest track on the calendar. Obviously debuted early in the early 1900s, so it is the oldest track on the calendar. It's been around for the longest, and it's such an iconic location as well. Just in your opinion, what's your real opinion of Monaco? I think obviously my opinion is that I absolutely adore this track. I don't know if you feel the same because obviously you're driving it tomorrow. What are your feelings on Monaco?
Yeah, it's some kind of a hate-love relationship with Monaco. It's really intense. That's the thing I love about Monaco.
Mm.
But the other thing, yeah, what I said earlier, one little mistake and you mess up your race, and that's what I really dislike of Monaco.
Absolutely, yeah, and that is one thing to look out for is that it may not necessarily be the fastest, but the cleanest person around Monaco can massively benefit here. Just going to have a look at the driver standings coming into round 4 of the championship. It is F1 AMG that still leads the way on 74 points. He's 10 points clear of Giannato Jonas in second in the Williams car. Those two have kind of disappeared at the front of the field now. It's a further 13 points back to Burt in third in the Haas car, and then it's Caesar in fourth ahead of Jay Bogan fifth, Mashiro sixth ahead of Steve in seventh, Jan and Mark equal on points in eighth place in the championship, and Isotopic after a first podium last time out rounds off the top 10 in the standings. In the top 10 at the moment, is there anyone that's really surprised you so far this season?
Yeah, there's a few. Mashiro, I expect him to be higher up, but he had a couple of little mistakes and.
Mm.
Yeah, that really cost him. And I stopped it to come into the top 10. I really like it. I mean, some good racing from him, especially last week.
Mm.
So yeah, some little surprises, but overall, yeah, solid top 10. It's so close. Everyone's so close, so it can change week in, week out.
Absolutely, yeah. The field is really tightly packed. F1 MG seems to have a little bit of an advantage at this point in time with his outright speed. He definitely showed that last time out, didn't he, in Zandvoort, that he had a bit of a challenge with Mark at the start of the race, but after Mark made that mistake early on in the first stint, he kind of really looked unbeatable from that point onwards, didn't he?
Yeah, he did a really solid race. He dominated from start to finish. Yeah, nothing more I can say about that. Just really dominant, really good racing from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just a note as well coming into this round, we have got a few drivers missing today. Both Renault cars are not driving today. That is Caesar and Mark, 4th and 9th in the standings. After a good showing in Vietnam, they really got their championship off to a good start in after a pretty poor first round in Australia. Vietnam went much better for them, a 1-2 finish. But in Zandvoort, once again, it was almost like they reverted back to how they were in Australia. They really struggled last time out.
Yeah, they did. 2 races ago, they had a really solid race, P1, P2, I believe,
Mm.
for the Renaults there. Yeah, maybe it's just they don't like the street circuits or something. I don't know what it is, but yeah, they definitely have the pace and they have the racecraft, but it doesn't always show.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing they struggled with so far this season. Mark, after a really good performance in terms of speed as well in Zandvoort, he was on the front row, I believe, for qualifying in Zandvoort last time out, but ended up not being able to finish in the points. He's now down in 9th in the standings, so he's dropped quite a way down after a good performance in Vietnam. He's not here alongside Jay Bogan. Jay Bogan for the second week running will not be here, so he's losing touch now with the top two. He was the only person to have 2 podiums coming into the third round last time out. He got podiums in both of the first 2 races. He's dropped down to 5th in the standings. Other noticeable absences today are also Kieran. Kieran will not be racing. He is currently running in the McLaren. He's 11th in the standings, just 5 points behind Isotopic. He will not be here today either. So those are just some people to look out for that aren't racing today. Lighty in the Ferrari, I believe, is also not here today. But you have noticed that we have got some reserves in. So TTG Buemi's here, DV's here. We've got a few more further down as well. Vloris is here. Thor is back for his second round after a fairly good showing last time out. Of all the reserves that we've have in today, is there anyone you really know that stands out as maybe as a threat today?
No. To be honest, I don't have a clue. No. I mean, Tol had a really solid race. Just a bit unfortunate last week out, but he had a solid first race as being a reserve.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he struggled a little bit in qualifying. It took him a while to get going, but he was really the only one on the alternate strategy last time out that could make it work. I believe it was him. It was Jan in the Mercedes, and I also believe Focky in the Haas car. They were all starting on the medium tyres, and it seemed to be Thor was the only one that could make that strategy work. After, obviously, there was an incident later on in the race. He came into contact with someone, I believe, and damaged his car. But before that, he was the only one that made that alternate strategy work. So if he can sort his qualifying out today, he could be a real threat for some good points today.
Yeah, I think so. If he has a good qualification, last time out he didn't have that great of a quali, if I remember correctly. But if he has a good quali, yeah, P10 should be possible for him.
Absolutely, yeah. I believe Thor qualified 13th last time out, if I remember correctly. I think he was one place off of last, and I think the person that qualified at the back of the field, I think that might have been Kieran after a spin in qualifying. So Thor was slowest of the people that were able to set competitive times, but we'll have to wait and see whether he's built on that pace that he showed in the race last time out. Obviously, you have to wait and see as well whether we can see Johnny start to re-catch F1 AMG in the championship. That's going to be really vital at this point. I know it's obviously early in the season, but would you say that F1 AMG is the favourite at this point?
Yeah, definitely. Even in the bad race in Vietnam, where he had a couple of incidents, he showed such great pace, and even in the wet. So yeah, I think he's a #1 title contender. But who knows? Maybe he has some more little mistakes which he can't come back from, and yeah, it can change in the top 10. So we'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely, and we were just discussing really before the stream got underway as well, is that Monaco's not really the track where, it's kind of the track where you see kind of a bit of a surprise podium, isn't it? Is this track more suits the kind of people that are confident around this track? People that necessarily faster everywhere else aren't really going to be as fast here, would you say?
No, that's definitely true. I mean, quali, you can try some things because you can go back in the pits, repair your front wing, but in the race, it's better to be half a second slower than you can be and just finish the race without any damage, and we can have some surprises.
Absolutely, yeah, we'll have right on board with Thor. He's the first person out onto the track today in the Alfa Romeo. He's gone out on the soft tyres. There's only one person in the pit lane at the moment that's put the medium tyres on. Whether he chooses to go out on them or not is another thing, but that is DV 1996. He's running in the Ferrari as a reserve today. He's going out, I think actually, he is going out on the medium tyres, so he's trying something maybe a little bit different, maybe trying for an alternate strategy. He might be quite fast around here, so if he can get in the top 10 on those medium tyres, that would be a great opportunity for him. Sean once again going for the medium tyres at the early start of qualifying. We see this a lot from him this season. But in terms of strategy wise, what do you think the best strategy around here is?
Yeah, really depends. If you can keep it out of the wall, just go for I would go for the safe choice, the soft hards. But yeah, soft mediums is definitely possible.
Absolutely, yeah. It's whether you can take those softs long enough into the race. That is another thing to look out for here. Even though it is night, Monaco, you can tend to overheat your front tyres here quite heavily if you're pushing too hard. So running a bit of a compromised pace may be better for your overall race pace. But we'll ride on board with Thor as he comes around the final corner. He is going to be the first person to do a lap in qualifying. Another thing to look out for today is traffic. That's going to be a big problem here. Thor goes into the first corner. Sandoval nicely through turn 1, keeps it out of the wall on the outside, nice and neat, coming up the hill now towards the top of the hill then before the end of the first sector, through the left-hander nicely, takes a nice late apex, comes into Casino, down the hill and then avoids the bump on the left-hand side, a little bit squirrely on the traction but just holds onto it. Isotopic has retired from the session already, so he's actually out of qualifying. He hasn't even left the pit lane, so unfortunately Isotopic will be starting at the back of the grid today. Through Lowe's hairpin goes Thor in the other Alfa Romeo, now down the hill towards the tunnel, nice and neat through here, very slow part of the track, coming through the tunnel again, caught on the curb on the outside, a little bit of a wobble on traction, comes through the tunnel now into the chicane, the Nouvelle chicane at the bottom of this hill. Comes into the corner. It's very, very easy to invalidate on the inside. He keeps it nice and neat. Just doing a nice clean banker at the moment. Keeps it just out of the wall on both sides. Now coming into to back and then into the swimming pool section. Nice and neat through the swimming pool. Very easy to hit the inside wall here too. We've seen it a lot of times in real life. Now coming up into Raskas. Nice late apex there. Keeps it tight to the inside. Again, a little bit squirrely on traction into the final corner. And again, the downhill will drop off on the outside of the corner, catching Thor out. But he crosses the line. A 1 minute 10.2. We're expecting pole maybe to be in the mid 1 minute 9s. But for an early banker, not too bad of a lap time for Thor, as we've got one of the Mercedes coming up to the line. That's Jan. And Jan is 0.2 of a second slower than Thor at the moment. So Thor at the moment looking pretty decent. We've got one of the Red Bulls coming up to the line just to start a lap, I think. Actually, no, that's Steve. He invalidated his first run. Focky only an 11 flat, so he's got caught up behind someone on his lap. Simply Superman. He had a great result last time. He had a great run last time out before a poor result in the end, but he's jumped to the front of the field on a 1 minute 9.7. Half a second clear of the rest of the field at the moment.
Yeah, great qualifying round of him. I didn't see it, but 197 as your first go through Monaco. It's really good. I mean, you should get real good confidence of this. And Bashiro's 196 now.
Wow.
So he's doing pretty good as well.
Absolutely. Mashiro goes a 10th clear of Simply Superman. That's more like it for Mashiro. We were saying earlier on that we've kind of cursed Mashiro so far this season. We've expected so much of the two-time division champion, and it's just not really worked out for him the start of the season. He's had good pace, but the results just haven't come. Maybe this is the start of his championship challenge. He's still not too far off the championship lead. He's just over 35 points behind, I believe. So if he can get to the front of the field, that'd be good. Yono's gone into third place in the McLaren. He's just under, he's just over 0.02 of a second slower than Simply Superman. He goes to third. Thor's still in fourth. Noticeable time though. DV 1996 on the medium tyres, a 1 minute 10.5 on the mediums, ahead of Tajonis. That's a brilliant lap time on the medium tyres.
Yeah, it is, and I'm just curious to see what he does when he puts on the soft tyres. I mean, 195 should be really possible. And I think we've done this, guys, a little too short. It could be that they're doing low.
Whoa.
Oh wow, 191.
Wow, I was just about to say that F1 AMG was coming up to the line. I was expecting it to be close to Mashiro, but he's over half a second clear at the front of the field. I know F1 AMG's pace this season has been crazy, but around Monaco, the confidence to do a 1 minute 9.1 this early in the session, that is absolutely insane. I don't want to say it too early, but it's almost like pole's already done and wrapped up. That's an incredible time from F1 AMG.
Yeah, F1 AMG really in a class of his own at the moment. We've seen it a couple of races as well. And just before he put the time down, I wanted to say maybe we did the guys a little short on the mid nines. I was gonna say they're probably gonna do low nines, and yeah, F1 AMG immediately sets a 191. And maybe when the track gets better and more grippy, he can do a 1.8 high.
That'd be incredible time if he could. Pole position, by the way, in Division 1 earlier in the week was a 1 minute 8.1. There was only, I think, 3 people in the 1 minute 8s in the end in Division 1. Everyone else is within the 1 minute 9s. So that is incredible pace from F1 AMG this early in the session. We'll have to wait and see if anyone else is on a lap. Casper's moved up to 7th place in the second racing point. That's more like it from Casper. We've spoken highly of Casper so far this season. He has had good performances in the past, but the start of his season just hasn't gone well so far. So maybe Monaco is somewhat of, this could be somewhat of a confidence booster for him. He showed relatively decent pace. I believe it was in Vietnam, but he just didn't get the result in the end. So maybe this could be the kickstart to his season too.
Yeah, really unfortunate so far. His qualities have been off a little bit as well. So let's hope this is going to be his lucky charm and he's going to perform well here.
Absolutely, yeah. 1 minute 10.5, mid to lower end of the top 10 at the moment, just ahead of DV, who's currently put on the soft tyres in the pit lane. That was on Casper's second lap on the soft tyres as well, so there's definitely more pace in it. Sean's done 2 laps on the mediums. He's done an 11.3, so that's still a relatively decent time on the medium tyres. It does look like he's going for another lap as well, so we'll have to wait and see whether he is improving. He's actually going to dive into the pits at the last moment, so Sean not improving on the 1 minute 11.3. Focky and Tajonis, meanwhile, 2 big championship. Well, 2 people that have definitely shown good pace so far this season. Tajonis second in the championship, Focky a little bit lower down, but Tajonis currently only 9th and 1.7 seconds off of his championship rival at the moment. That must be soul crushing for Tajonis.
Yeah, it is, but we mustn't forget that his quality last time out wasn't as great as well. But then the first couple of laps, he won lots of places. So it's gonna be hard on Monaco, but I've said that before on Vietnam as well, and he did it there. So yeah, he has time to improve, and elsewhere he's just gonna have a really good race and win some places back, and don't make mistakes.
Absolutely, yeah. Simply Superman on a second run. I think he made a little bit of a mistake in Casino. He turned in a little bit too early, clipped the inside wall. He's gotten away with no damage, but we'll have to wait and see whether he's actually improving on this lap. So committed through the Nouvelle Chicane. That was brilliant from Simply Superman on the exit as he comes into the back. Look how committed he is. He's flying it through, but he's a 10th down at the moment on his personal best. So even with this committed lap, he's actually hit the wall there in the second part of the swimming pool. He's pushing that much and he's already derating before the line. He's going to come around the final corner just to see whether he can improve. Jono in front of him, just starting another run for him. As he comes up to the line to Simply Superman, does he improve on his time? He doesn't. He improves slightly in the final sector, but can't beat his overall time. Thorl, meanwhile, goes up to P2 with a 1 minute 9.6, a 6/10 of a second improvement on his first run. That's more like it from Thorl, struggling at the back of the field at Zandvoort. Currently on the front row. We'll wait and see what Mashiro can do. Mashiro's actually dived into the pit lane, so he's made a mistake somewhere in the final sector. But that is brilliant from Thorl, struggling so much in qualifying last time out. He's now at the front of the field.
Yeah, great lap. 196 is of course half a second down from F1 AMG, but yeah, great qualifying, and really curious to see if he can hold it up and maybe improve on his second quali lap as well.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll ride with Focky as he comes around the final corner. He's about half a second up on his personal best at the moment, so let's see whether he can prove at the end. He has picked up some front wing damage somewhere on this lap, but he still improves by 7/10 of a second even with the damage and goes into 7th place, so there's still even more time in that. His teammate Bircher, third in the championship, goes 6/1000 of a second behind his teammate, and he's picked up damage, I think, on the opposite side of his front wing. Yeah, both Haskars have hit the wall somewhere on their lap, so there's still a lot more pace in the Haskars at the moment. Looking further down the field, Jan's dived into the pit lane, so is Jono at the end of their runs. They're not going to be improving on 5th and 6th for the time being. F1 AMG staying in the pits at the moment, so Jonas is on a lap. He's coming into the middle sector through the Nouvelle Chicane, bounces a little bit over the curb, but nice and neat on the exit of the corner. Now towards the back, got to be very, very committed in 5th gear through here, nicely through there, but he's only just under a 10th up on his personal best. This has been the best run so far from him, as he slides a little bit there through the swimming pool, now into Raskas. Very, very tight hairpin corner. Short shifts up to second to Null. The wheel spin into the final corner. A little bit sideways on the exit, but that's natural for that corner. So John is coming up to the line. Can he improve on 11th place? He does. He goes to 9th with a 4.5 improvement in the final sector, but still only 9th on the grid for Jonas. And we know that he usually makes up a lot of places at the first lap, but at Monaco that is so difficult. 9th is going to be really, really difficult for him to make any sort of places up at this point.
Yeah, it definitely is. He seems to be a bit struggling in quali as well with his grip. Yeah, Monaco, it's nearly impossible to gain a couple of places at the start. But yeah, who knows? I hope he's going to surprise us and is going to do it. And I'm really hoping for some unusual overtakes in places I don't expect it.
Absolutely, yeah, we may have to see that today. Just obviously some people are going to want to try and get moves on as early as possible. If they cruise up to the back of someone, they want to get it done before they get held up. DV1996 is on a lap on the soft tyres. He's obviously only set a time on the mediums at the moment, as has Sean. They're both on laps. I think Sean's coming up to the line. Let's see if he improves on his time. He crosses the line, and he only goes 2/10 faster, so it's only an 11.1 for Sean. There's surely more lap pace in that. DV's half a second up on his personal best at the moment, so he's going to jump into the top 10 with this time. Meanwhile, TTML Steve, he's messed up another run by the looks of things in qualifying, only a 21.7, so he's going to be going for another lap. But Wemmy hasn't set a time yet. Here comes DV to the line, and it is a 1 minute 9.9, so he goes into P6. Good lap, but still, he's only improved by 6 tenths of a second as F1 AMG has hit the wall coming out of Casino. I know he's on pole at the moment by half a second, but still, F1 AMG makes a mistake in qualifying, hit the wall at Casino, was retired from the session. So even with that brilliant time, there's a little bit of, there's some cracks showing here in F1 AMG's armor. He's made a mistake in qualifying and he's already out of the session.
Yeah, and that's what we said before. It's really, really important to have a clean race, and this could be devastating for your how do you call it? Self-esteem? Something like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we have to see if it goes down here and he messes up a couple of times, it's race over. So even F1 AMG isn't untouchable.
Absolutely, yeah, not untouchable at the moment, and that mistake in qualifying means he's not going to improve on his 1.9.1. It's going to be an incredible effort from anyone behind to try and beat that time. Simply Superman's on another run in the Racing Point. Thor has started a run behind him. Mashiro was on a run, but he's invalidated early in the lap, so I think he's going to go for a second run on the same set of tyres. We've only got 5 minutes in the session. This session's absolutely flown by. Here comes Simply Superman into the Nouvelle Chicane. He's hit the inside wall at the Nouvelle Chicane and has ripped his front wheel off, so another man at the front of the field making a mistake in qualifying. His car's parked in the middle of the road. That's going to massively compromise Buemi, who's coming through the Nouvelle Chicane now, and he has to cut the corner to avoid Simply Superman, and has invalidated his time because of it. So Buemi again down in 16th place, not able to set a time because of invalidation there. That is a shame for him. Simply Superman's not going to improve on 4th, and he's under pressure from people behind. Mashiro's on another lap, but it doesn't look like he's improved in the first sector. Thor's on another run in the Alfa Romeo. He comes to the end of the second sector. He's a 10th.5 up on his personal best, so he's continuing to improve as he comes through the swimming pool section. All very, very sideways on the exit, but just about holds the car. Comes through Raskas, a big lock up on the inside. It's compromised his run. Not too long of a run to the final corner. Comes out of the final corner nicely, coming up to the line, derates a little bit, comes across the line. He still improves by a 10th of a second. He secures second place even more at the moment, but he's still going to be under pressure behind. Mashiro's on a great lap. He's 3/10 up on his personal best. Let's see whether he can jump onto second place on the grid. This is on his second lap on this set of tyres, though, so he's already at a disadvantage if he crosses the line on this time. And wow, what a final sector from Mashiro. F1AMG's mistake has cost him pole position here. Mashiro with an incredible final sector does a 1 minute 9 point flat to go half a tenth clear of F1AMG. That is an amazing lap for Mashiro.
It is. I really didn't expect him to win so much time in the final sector. Especially he was really careful with short shifting and stuff. But yeah, great lap from him. And this is the first time in quali he shows us his pace.
Absolutely,
and his potential.
Yeah. That is a brilliant time for Mashiro. He's going to want to come in and maybe try and improve on that time on a fresher set of softs. He should get back to the pits in time to do that because it is a relatively short lap here. But that is amazing. He was only 3 and a bit tenths up on his personal best coming into the final sector, and he improved by a further 3/10 in the final sector alone. So that's a brilliant lap time from him. Thor's going for another run by the looks of things on the same set of tyres. Does a 1 minute 9.2. Wow, on a second lap on a set of soft tyres with very little ERS left. That's a brilliant lap from Thor as well. The top 3 at the moment, so much further ahead than the rest of the field. Thor looking really, really good in third place, but a 1 minute 9.2, that's a brilliant lap from him.
It is. It definitely is. I was on board with him. He made up for his mistake in the final sector on his last run, and 2/10 as well. I don't think he has time to do another run, but great pace from him, and just put him in a car. Is there any spaces left for him?
Absolutely, yeah. He's showing really, really good pace at the moment. We're going to go on board with Steve. He's on a run. He's currently in 14th. He's going to want to improve on that. Only a 21.7. He's not really set a competitive time in this session. Casper improved to 8th and it looks like has gone off at the first corner, so he's not going to be improving on that position at the moment. Jan in the Mercedes has started a lap as well, as has Sean just in front. We'll see how Sean's doing at the end of the first sector. Only an 11.1 for him. He's struggled in qualifying so far this season, but his race pace definitely makes up for it. He's been running in the lower end of the top 10 for a lot of the races he's taken part in this season. Comes to the end of the second sector, he's 7.5 tenths up on his personal best, so this is a much better lap from the AlphaTauri man as he comes into the final sector. This could challenge the 2 Haas cars at the moment, who still haven't improved on their times that was set with front wing damage. Here comes Sean round the final corner, nice and neat through the final corner, now coming up to the start finish line, and it's a 1 minute 10.4. He goes up into 12th place just behind the Haas cars and John. It's ahead of Flores, but a much better lap from him. Steve immediately goes into 12th, but only 12 thousandths of a second ahead of Sean. Steve really struggling here. He doesn't look that confident.
Yeah, last race out he had some great qualifying and a great race as well until he spun, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, really struggling. He's having a really difficult time, but yeah, just keep your head cool, and anything can happen in the race at Monaco.
Absolutely, yeah, anything can happen. You can never rule anyone out of this race. You don't know what's going to happen in front. A lot of people on outlaps at the moment. Jan's done he's done a lap time, did a 1 minute 10 flat. He stays in 7th place for the time being. He did improve on his time. We've missed it, but DV's gone into 6th on a 1 minute 9.9. So actually, we didn't miss that. He's just stayed on 1 minute 9.9. I thought he'd improve, but actually he's not improved on that time so far. Jan, I think, might be on another run on the same set of tyres, maybe trying to improve. It doesn't look like he was up in the first sector though, so this isn't an improvement at the moment on 7th place. Bit of a better qualifying showing for him. He's had a great pre-season, but it just hasn't really come together for him this season either, as he comes down into the chicane. Nice and neat on the inside, but too much curb on the inside of the corner is going to invalidate his final run in qualifying. So Jan's not going to improve on 7th place. We'll see who else is improving on their time. Yono coming to the end of the first sector. Can he improve on his 5th place? He's a 10th down in the first sector, so it's not a good first sector from the McLaren man. Jan has retired, as has Steve from the session. We've got a lot of people starting their laps now. So both Haas cars have just started their runs. They're actually in front of Yono on the track, so we'll wait and see what they are doing. We're right on board with Focky. Focky was slightly down in the first sector on his personal best, comes into the Nouvelle chicane, nice and neat through there, doesn't invalidate, a little bit squirrely on the exit of the corner, but just about holds the car, comes into the final sector. Now he's still a little bit down on his personal best, so he's not improving at the moment. Jonas has just started his final run. He's currently in 11th on the grid, so he wants to improve on that with his championship rival at the front of the field at the moment. Here comes Focky around the final corner. Can he improve on 9th place? It's been a bit of a struggle for him the last 2 rounds. He's going to come up to the line, and it is not an improvement for Focky. So despite not having any damage, he can't improve on his time. Bircher, meanwhile, goes up into 8th place, but only a 1 minute 10.1 in the end for the Haas cars. Despite not having damage, they couldn't improve on their times.
Yeah, Bircher and Focky as well. Some races we've seen some brilliant things from them. Other races they've been struggling. This looks like they're struggling as well.
Mishiro's on a lap, by the way. Mishiro's absolutely flying. He might be the first and only man into the 1 minute 8s with this lap time. He comes up to the line. Is it a 1 minute 8.9? Wow, improves by a further 1/10 of a second to secure pole position. A 1 minute 8.9 from Mishiro. What another amazing lap from the Red Bull man. He secures pole position. I don't think anyone is close to coming to take that time off of him. Chajonis can't improve on 11th place. He only improved by 13 thousandths of a second on his personal best time. And I think that is the end of qualifying, apart from Flores, who I think is on a run at the moment. Buemi didn't set a time in the end in the Renault. He's down at the back of the field. Flores has damaged his front wing somewhere. So unless the Haas cars are on another lap, which I don't think they are, neither of them are, Jono's on a lap at the moment. He's coming around the final 2 corners now, but he has a massive snap of traction on the exit of Raskas. He's out of line for the final corner. That's going to massively compromise his run, and it looks like he's backed off. So, at the end of qualifying, it looked like F1 AMG had this one in the bag, but a mistake in qualifying means he can't improve in his time, and Mashiro, out of nowhere, with an amazing lap time, takes pole position in the end.
Yeah, and this is what he wanted all along, starting from pole and try to stay out of dirty air and drive his own race. But yeah, great from him. F1 AMG, let's hope he doesn't make any mistakes in the race. And Simply Superman, great qualifying as well.
Absolutely, yeah. 2 weeks in a row now where Simply Superman has really improved on his qualifying. He struggled quite a bit in Vietnam, but had a good run last time out. Unfortunately, he didn't get the result he wanted because of contact late in the race. But 4th on the grid at Monaco is definitely ideal. He'll be starting right near the front. But at the moment, the top 3 are half a second clear of the rest of the field. I want to say, obviously, Mashiro's lap is incredible, but I am massively impressed by Thor with P3 on the grid after struggling so much last time out. I don't want to sound too biased. It sounds like all I've been talking about is Thor today, but that is such an improvement from last week. A 1 minute 9.2 to go 3rd on the grid. What a lap from the Alfa Romeo man.
Definitely, great lap. He was struggling last week with quali, but his race pace was great as well. I believe he had a decent finishing position as well. Yeah, great.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant result from him. But here is the final grid then going into round 4 of the season. It's Mashiro on pole ahead of F1 AMG in second, despite crashing, still on the front row with only 1 lap in the qualifying session. So he's at the front, well ahead of his championship rivals at the moment. Thor in 3rd ahead of Simply Superman 4th. Yono in 5th ahead of DV in 6th. On debut ahead of Jan in 7th. Bert only in 8th. Casper in the top 10. He's in 9th ahead of Focky 10th. John is 2nd in the championship. Only 11th on the grid with a 1 minute 10.3. Steve in 12th ahead of Sean 13th. Flores 14th. Isotopic and Buemi, neither of them could set a time in qualifying, so they're going to have to massively make up. And after Isotopic's first podium last time out, this could not be more of an opposite round for him.
No, it doesn't. Great race last week out, some great defending from him, and but yeah, now he starts from the back, and he has to be the other guy who tries to overtake. And yeah, let's hope he does good this race.
Absolutely, yeah. Strategy is key as well here. You can work your way forwards with a good strategy. And obviously, it's Monaco, so a safety car is more than likely going to happen here. I think if someone loses a bit of front wing, we might see a safety car pretty much instantly. So you've got to keep an eye out for that. And people that take advantage of the safety cars are normally the people that end up winning the races. So we'll have to wait and see what people can do and see what strategies people are on. It does look like we're going to have a dry race throughout. It doesn't look like we're going to have any wet interference unless it comes later in the race. At the moment, it's looking nice and dry. So at least the drivers have that to cling on to, that it's going to be at least a dry start to the race.
Yeah, it's difficult enough when it's dry. So yeah, just imagine how it is going to be in the rain. I believe they had rain in Division 1 earlier this week, and yeah, just really difficult on this track.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we said that though about Vietnam, that having a full wet race at Vietnam was going to be tricky, and it ended up actually being probably the cleanest and safest race of the season, didn't it, so far? It was such a clean race in the end, and not really, well, I'd say only maybe 1 or 2 people really came unstuck by the wet weather conditions. So we seem to have a lot of rainmeisters in this grid this season, but we'll wait and see what strategies people are going for today outside of the top 10 then. So everyone obviously inside the top 10 starting on the softs. Lower down we've got Tejonis from 11th all the way down to Isotopic in 15th running on the mediums. Interestingly though enough, 16th on the grid Buemi is starting on a set of soft tyres, so maybe looking to work his way forwards very early in this race.
Yeah, he has to make up positions early. If you get stuck behind some drivers on the soft tires, they're going to go off really quickly. So yeah, maybe he's aiming for some quick overtakes in the first couple of laps. And just before we start, can you do a prediction of the top 3?
Oh, like I said earlier on, I've cursed Mashiro so much this season that I would to him again, but just the pace he's shown in qualifying, it's hard to bet against him. Obviously being at the front of the grid, he's in the best position, and it does look like Mashiro has a lot of confidence here, so maybe this could be the kickstart to his championship campaign. So I'm going to go for Mashiro for the race win. Mashiro, please don't at me or message me later on if it goes horribly wrong. It wasn't my fault. But I would probably say Mashiro and F1 AMG look set at the front of the field in 1 and 2. Battle for third will be interesting because obviously Thule had great qualifying pace. We'll have to wait and see if that translates over. But we saw last time out, Simply Superman had brilliant racecraft and race pace and was very, very good at saving ERS, which is difficult round here. And also we don't know people's time management, which is definitely going to be key here. So I would say it's going to be a battle between Thule and Simply Superman for the final podium place.
Interesting. And then do a quick one then. I think Mashiro and F1 AMG because they're just really quick, and a surprise for P3. I'm gonna go for Steve because he has shown some really clean racing and patience. So I think he's gonna do good.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll have to wait and see whether that comes true. It's Monaco, so anything can happen. Don't take our predictions for it. It could be a completely different order. We could end up having the bottom 3 on the grid being the top 3 at the end of the race. You never know. But here we go for round 4 of the season. It is the Monaco Grand Prix. Who's going to get the best start at the front of the field? Here come the lights. It's 3, 4, 5 lights ahead of them. Short hole, but away they go, and off they go for the round 4 of the season. Mashiro and F1 AMG get relatively good starts, but the second phase of the start for Mashiro is poor. Massive wheel spin, and F1 AMG breezes around the outside, coming out of turn 1. There's a bit of contact further back. It looks like one of the Alfa Romeos has gone off at the back of the grid. That might be Isotopic who's gone off, but F1 AMG breezes around the outside of Mashiro into turn 1 and takes the lead. Mashiro drops to second. Thor and Simply Superman hold on to the places, but Thor's hit the wall, I think. But Thor's made a mistake and run wide, and now it looks like Simply Superman's actually inside him, unfortunately. There's a bit of ghosting going on, but Simply Superman inside Thor at the moment, trying to get second flag somewhere further down the field. It's actually Jan that's ended up in third place. He's had an incredible start from 7th on the grid. He's up to 3rd place. What a start for the Mercedes man. Up into 3rd place. Thor trying to get back past him. Simply Superman's dropped a place as well. Further down, Jonas has worked his way forward. So has Steve, but he's up to 12th from 16th on the grid. He's had a great start in the Renault. He's on the back of Steve now. Does he go for a move down into the Nouvelle chicane? He looks to the inside, but he's not close enough to make the move stick. Further in behind, Flores and Sean in the Alpha Tauri is 13th and 14th. Isotopic down to 15th. Casper down to 16th. He's had a poor start from 10th on the grid, unfortunately. But at the front of the field, poor start for Mashiro. F1 AMG has stolen the race lead, but Jan moving up to 3rd has meant that the top 3 are already 2.5 seconds clear of the rest of the field at the end of lap 1.
Yeah, incredible. That's what we said before. The paces, they're just so quick. And F1 AMG had a great start. Mashiro second part of the start, he had some wheel spin and lost out. And then, yeah, I think if they're just gonna hold up, they're gonna breeze away from the rest of the pack.
Absolutely, yeah, and this is ideal for Mercedes manufacturers-wise. Jan has struggled so far this season, but currently running in 3rd at the head of this queue of cars. He's had a brilliant start up to 3rd place. So have to wait and see whether he can hold the lights of Thor and Simply Superman behind. Thor is crawling all over him. Thor actually picks up a time penalty on the inside of the Lowe's hairpin. He was so desperate to try and get a move done down the inside. They ended up hopping over the curb and picking up a time penalty for it. And we're only on lap 2 with a 39-lap race. That could be massively costly for Thor later on in this one. But yeah, Jan running in 3rd. Further down the field then, we've got Yono in 6th, Bert in 7th. DV down to 8th after his start. Focky's in 9th ahead of John, the lead medium runner in 10th place. But Steve is crawling all over the back of the Williams. Buemi pushing these guys as well. There's a bit of a gap back now, down to 13th and 14th. CPI Casper running at the back of the field on his own at the moment. After seemingly picking up front wing damage early on in the race, it looks like Flores might have some front wing damage in the AlphaTauri as well, which is why he's struggling maybe to keep up with the likes of Buemi in front. As we start lap 3, DRS is now enabled, but there is only one DRS lane on this track, and F1 AMG has broken DRS range to Mashiro. So a poor start for Mashiro, and F1 AMG has been given the clear air out in front. They are now 4 seconds clear of Jan in third. They are disappearing into the distance at the moment. Further in behind, it's starting to split from 7th down, but can't quite keep up with the guys in front, and that's where the split's starting to form in this queue. Simply Superman dropping a little bit behind Thor, but just kind of swinging. It's like swings and roundabouts at the moment for the top 5. But yeah, at the moment, F1 AMG breaking the toe is already over a second clear, and this is exactly what Mashiro didn't need. He needed to stay in front of F1 AMG to take points off of him, and he's just gifted F1 AMG the free air and the opportunity to win this race.
Yeah, he did, and the second lap of F1 AMG, 1:12.7, is really quick that early on in the race. So yeah, he really is confident, and he's just, yeah, he's able to drive his own race again today. Didn't start on pole, but he overtook Mashiro before the first corner. Yeah, and the rest, Jan, it's already 5 seconds behind Mashiro, so they're really just breezing away from the rest.
Yeah, it does look like the top 2 at the moment. Mashiro can't quite keep up with F1 AMG, but the top 2 at the moment in a class of their own. Jan is starting to gap Thor ever so slightly, so I wonder if Thor's maybe overheating his tyres slightly, stuck in the dirty air of the Mercedes in front. That might be why Simply Superman's struggling to keep up as well. Yono in 6th, crawling all over back to the Racing Point man. It looks like DV's the closest person maybe to make an overtake. He's running in the Ferrari today. He's up behind Bert. Bert 3rd in the standings at the moment, kind of on his own. He's ahead of Hero and Steve obviously behind to join us, and F1 AMG. He's 13 points off the top 2 in the championship, and he needed a good result here to try and close in on the top 2. He's ahead of the Jonas at the moment, but F1 AMG being so far out in front is really costly for him. Superman picks up a 3-second time penalty. We're only on lap 4. That's another thing to look out for. Penalties are very, very common here, but look at that. F1 AMG is now 2.5 seconds clear of Mashiro. I don't know if Mashiro's made an error in the first sector, but F1 AMG is breezing away up front. This is just like Zandvoort, really. He's just clearing off into the distance, and he doesn't really look to have any tyre overheating problems at all in the Mercedes. Mashiro struggling a little bit further behind with some understeer, but Buemi picks up a time penalty now in the Renault. We've got someone making a move in the background on the map. I think that was Isotopic maybe launching a move up the inside of one of the AlphaTauri cars, but it didn't quite pay off for him. Sean's got front wing damage in the AlphaTauri. He's holding Isotopic up at the moment. Isotopic, after a podium last time out, stuck in 15th place. He'll be really, really frustrated that he can't get past these AlphaTauri cars. But we're kind of in a queue of cars at the moment. No one can really make overtakes. Thor's door tents back from the car in front, but just not close enough. He needs to wait for a mistake from someone in front to make an overtake stick here.
Yeah, it is, and Casper already pitted as well, had wing damage, so another unfortunate race for him again. But yeah, just F1 AMG, he's really, really quick, and he's gapping Mashiro really quick.
Ooh.
But
got a move in the background. DV trying to go all the way around the outside there before the Lowe's hairpin of Bert. What a move that is for the Ferrari man. He breezes past Bert down the exit of Casino, down into Mirabeau, and then before Lowe's hairpin goes all the way around the outside. I didn't quite catch fully the move, which is a shame, but what a move from DV on debut this season. Round the outside of Mirabeau. You said that we were going to see some opportunistic overtaking today. That is opportunistic if I've ever seen it. And look at that, he's already gapped Berger by a second in half a lap.
Yeah, and he was 2 seconds behind Jono, and he's already into DRS range, so he's looking really racy and quick today as well. Let's hope he can keep this up.
Absolutely, yeah, he's catching these guys in front massively. It looks like Simply Superman's really starting to struggle on these soft tyres. He's holding Yono up ever so slightly, is falling behind the top 3. Jan, after a good start at poor qualifying, is actually doing a very, very solid job now of pulling away from the queue of cars behind. Buemi is already into the pit lane. I wonder maybe if he's picked up some damage somewhere. We've got Isotopic and Sean side by side. Sean's dived into the pit lane for his medium tyres to replace his front wing. Buemi is replacing his front wing and putting the hard tyres on, so Buemi's obviously picked up some damage somewhere on that soft tyre strategy from the back of the field. Sean's in as well, so they're both replacing their front wings. They can't continue on that. That frees Isotopic ever so slightly to have a run at the other AlphaTauri of Flores, and that means that there's not really any pressure behind for Tejonis and Steve. Tejonis on the medium tyres, running all over the back of the Haas cars, who are really struggling here, but actually, the moment, the cork in the bottle really is Thor. Thor's dropped to 1.8 seconds behind Jan, is 0.8 of a second ahead of Simply Superman, and then it's just a queue of cars all the way down to Steve in 11th place.
Yeah, he's really starting to struggle on his tires. So if he keeps this, I hope he can keep the soft tires off and running, because they had great qualifying and still has P4. But I don't know if he has to go for the hard tires and fall all the way back from those guys.
Absolutely, yeah. If he does have to pit now, we can't make really 23 laps. Look at that massive slide out of Raskas. Really struggling with the rear tyre grip on that Alfa Romeo. He can't really go 20. Yeah, he can't really go 23 laps around this track on a set of medium tyres. That's pretty impossible to do. And Thor's hit the wall. Yeah, he's understeered through the first corner at Sandovolis, hit the wall, broken his front wing. Simply Superman further behind, hit the wall as well, but didn't get any damage by the looks of things. Jono is climbing all over the back of this Racing Point. Jono looks very fast at the moment. He looks like he could maybe challenge Jan for third, but he's just stuck. That is the problem with Monaco. You need a good qualifying to get up front. Jan didn't have the best of qualifying, but had an incredible start and has made the most of it. But oh, we've got a move in the background to Jonas going down the outside towards Lowe's on the outside of Burt. Oh, there's a bit of a Constantina effect there. There's not really enough room for two cars. Burt holds on to the pace to Jonas. It was a bit of an ambitious move. We said we were going to see them today, but it just didn't pay off for him in the end. Jonas still stuck in 10th place on those medium tyres. Can't get past the Haas cars. And Steve climbing all over the back of him as well. Does Jonas go for a move at the chicane? He's not close enough. Steve sticks in behind as well. But yeah, this will be massively frustrating for Jonas, who knows that he's faster than the soft runners in front, but just can't find a way past at the moment.
Yeah, and it is really frustrating to have a couple of guys in front of you, you know, that you're faster than them. Same with Jono and DV.
Simply Superman's in. Sorry to jump in there. Simply Superman, lap 7. He's into the pit lane, as is Burt on the Haas. And the Haas, they've come into the pit lane to change those soft tyres, so they can't take them any further than 7 laps in this race. That's an incredibly short distance. Burt's putting the medium tyres on, so he's going to try and take those to the end, but that would be an amazing opportunity. That would be an amazing feat if he can take those to the end. Simply Superman's put the hard tyres on. He's clearly going for the one stop, and he's going to be out in a lot of clean air. Isotopic, meanwhile, is caught onto the back of Lois very quickly, but Isotopic's broken his front wing somewhere, unfortunately. Simply Superman picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. As is Thor again. Thor as well, yeah. So both Alfa Romeo struggling with damage at the moment. Thor, I will say, he has gapped the guys behind. DV somewhere has worked his way past Jono. So I don't know whether Jono got caught out by Simply Superman coming into the pit lane, but DV's worked his way past the McLaren man. He's now into about 2.5 seconds of clean air, catching Thor in front, who has front wing damage. This is a great opportunity for DV to work his way into this podium fight.
Yeah, it is. He looks really quick. I missed the overtake on Jono as well. But yeah, he's doing a great job, and he's catching Thor pretty quickly now. Thor really struggling. I think he's gonna pit within 1 or 2 laps now, because he just can't hold out. His backside is swerving all over the place, and he's coming in now.
He's coming in, and DV's coming as well. So DV's reacted to Thor coming in.
Yellow flag.
Yellow flag for somewhere. I think that might be for someone slowing down in the final sector. I didn't quite see who that was for. That might be for Isotopic, who's struggling with front wing damage. DV's into the pit lane. It says DV's changing his front wing. It says, I think DV is changing his front wing. He has, yeah. So DV also picked up damage somewhere. So Thor's not going to get jumped by the Ferrari man. Where did Simply Superman come out relative to these guys? He's jumped them massively. Look at I know that they changed their front wing, but Simply Superman, look at the gap he's got to Thor now. Well out in front of him. He's over 6 seconds clear of the Alfa Romeo man coming through turn 1. Now it'll be about 5.5 seconds with the short exit of the pit lane. But yeah, Simply Superman massively jumping these guys. And DV almost jumped by Buemi. Buemi's trying to go for a move up the hill. This would be an amazing move if he can pull it off. He's down the inside, but there's not enough room. DV shuts the door on Buemi, but Buemi from the back of the field nearly jumped DV in the pit lane. Just goes to show how much those soft runners at the front of the field are struggling for pace. The top 2 are gone out in front, but look at F1 AMG's lead at the moment, 6.5 seconds clear of Mashiro. They're in a race of their own at the moment, but the soft tyres look like an incredibly poor tyre here.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, the undercut is just massive here. Look at Simply Superman and Thor. They both had a front wing change, so it wasn't that. Yeah. But
Jan's
it's
in.
Just, what is it, 6 seconds?
Yeah, Jan's into the pit lane. Jan's put the mediums on, so he's trying to get those to do 29 laps. That's a massive ask if he can get to this end. Actually, it's 30 laps because we've only completed 9 laps in this race. That'd be an amazing feat if he can pull it off, but I'll be shocked if he gets those to the end. He's probably hoping for a safety car. Focky's also put the medium tyres on, as we actually have a virtual safety car. Flores has hit the wall somewhere. He's hit the wall actually at the Nouvelle chicane, so come stuck on the inside wall. Buemi's coming in to replace his front wing once again in this race, second time. Focky will gain a little bit of time having been in the virtual safety car. Focky has actually come out ahead of Thor, so that's how much they've jumped, these guys. Focky's ended up ahead of Thor, who was 4th. Focky was down in 8th or 9th place. That is a massive jump. And Birch has ended up ahead of the Ferrari man of DV as well. So the Haas cars, while being on the medium tyres, so they're going to struggle to get those to the end, as Jono picked up a time penalty for speeding behind the virtual safety car. They've massively gained in terms of track position here.
Yeah, they did, and I think they're hoping for a late safety car for guys struggling in the end of the race. Because I hope they can hold these ties together, but yeah, I don't think they're gonna do it. But yeah, overall, they just masses of time they won in the pit lane.
Absolutely, yeah. And one to look out for, Simply Superman has only ended at 1.7 seconds behind Jan. He's gained masses of time. He had a little bit of a snap there through the swimming pool, but he gets away with it. But Simply Superman, he has got one time penalty in this race. Jan doesn't have one, but Simply Superman, now that he's in free air on a set of hard tyres that obviously aren't overheating as much as the softer compounds, he is much more confident here. He's actually going to come out, though, right behind Yono. Yono serves his drive-through penalty. He's on a set of soft tyres. As I say that, Simply Superman, is he going to go down the inside up the hill? He's got a run on the McLaren man. He's down the inside. Yono's going to fight it round the outside. There's a little bit of contact, I think. They're still side by side, but Yono he gives up that play. Simply Superman makes the move stick coming into Casino. Great move from him, but Simply Superman on the hard tyres, much more confident, is catching Jan. Jan, obviously on the mediums, he's going to struggle to take this to the end. Simply Superman, with an early pit stop, has thrown himself into a podium place here.
Yeah, great strategy from him. He doesn't have to come into the pit again. Great overtaking on Jonna, I must say. It's really hard in that place, especially with the weird curves on the track there.
Yeah.
Yeah, great racing from him, and then just kind of the professor. Great strategy.
Absolutely, yeah. Meanwhile, front of the field, F1AMG and Mashiro are still going on their set of soft tyres, so they've not lost confidence on their softs at the moment. They're on to lap 12. F1AMG, though, I mean, Mashiro's qualifying pace was incredible, but I'm sure F1AMG would have really fought for pole had he not crashed early in the session. F1AMG's race pace here is on another level. This is insane race pace. We said Mashiro had a great qualifying, but F1AMG is walking this one. He's 8.5 seconds clear after 11 laps.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, in qualifying, those guys can be pretty close, but then in race pace, F1AMG is really just number one in this league. It's 8.7 seconds on Monaco in 11.5 laps. Incredible.
Absolutely incredible. I think Mashiro's actually got a bit of front wing damage on the right-hand side of his end plate. I have to wait and see until we get a better outside camera angle as Buemi sets the fastest lap for the race of 12.4 on the medium tyres. Currently running in 13th place, but he's stuck behind Isotopic, and I think he does. Yeah, Mashiro, front wing damage, so he's obviously struggling with that. F1AMG hasn't got any himself. So Mashiro's still doing a good job, but he has a massive side out of Raskas, but they're still staying out. They're not coming in yet. They want to change to the medium tyres by the looks of things, but they are... Mashiro at the moment, if he changes his front wing, is under risk of being jumped here by Jan, who's obviously on a set of fresh medium tyres, going a lot faster. Steve's into the pit lane, meanwhile, he's on a set of mediums. He's into the pit lane only on lap 12 from his mediums, so he doesn't think he can take those mediums far enough into this race to warrant putting the softs on. He's put a set of the hard tyres on, so that is massively telling in this race that Steve can't take those medium tyres any further than F1AMG and Mashiro can take the softs.
Yeah, incredible, and that just shows the racecraft of F1AMG and Mashiro. They're just really tire saving, and especially Mashiro with his front wing damage. It's harder on the front tires if you have wing damage. So great job on them, and yeah, it just shows on the other guys who are going for the mediums like Birch, Buemi, Sean, Kaspar. That they're not going to last until the end of the race.
No, it definitely doesn't look like it. Meanwhile, just looking at the gap between Jonas and Mashiro, in the last 3 laps, Jonas has taken 5 seconds out of Mashiro. Jonas' pace on the medium tyres now in free air, compared to the soft runners in front, is massively different. F1AMG stayed out for another lap, so he's still going. We're on to lap 14 in this race. Mashiro continuing as well, but to Jonas' pace, he's throwing himself into a mix for a podium here because he is so much faster than the 2 drivers in front of him at the moment.
Yeah, he is, and just too bad he had some poor qualifying on this track. He's massively gaining on Mashiro now, so soft tires are definitely going off fast now. Yeah, let's see if he can put a one-stopper off T. Jonas and go really long on his medium tires and finishes on the softs.
Absolutely, maybe see if he can do that, but at the moment the softs don't look like a very good race tyre, so maybe pitting and putting the hard tyres on, even undercutting the 2 drivers in front might be a good option for him, because he could end up passing Mashiro. Look at that. He's gained 0.8 of a second on Mashiro in the first sector alone. Mashiro massively struggling for pace with that front wing damage now. He's under all sorts of pressure from Tejonis behind. Jan at this point will undercut Mashiro easily, even without a front wing change for the Red Bull man. So Jan has thrown himself into a net P2 here. Obviously on the medium tyres, he's going to struggle to get those to the end, but Jan will be P2 on the track when the drivers in front of him pit. So Mercedes 1-2 at the end of lap, well, F1 AMG is coming into the pits now, so at the end of lap 15 we may have a Mercedes 1-2 from Jan being 7th on the grid, which is an incredible feat for Mercedes and perfect for the manufacturers, considering that Williams are only down to one car today and Renault aren't here.
Yeah, great, and I believe they are already first in constructors, but yeah, they're gonna gain massively as Mashiro is in as well, having a front wing change, and they're both going for the mediums. So
wow,
I'm kind of surprised by that.
I'm surprised by that as well. They both think they can take the mediums to the end. Wait and see. F1 AMG clean out in front, but look at that. F1 AMG only ended up 6.5 seconds clear of Jan. Mashiro has ended up behind Bircher. He's way down. He's lost so much time with that front wing damage and staying out so long on the soft tyres. He's dropped from a net P2 to a net P7. That is a massive drop in places.
Yeah, incredible. He just
he nearly hit the wall again. My word. He got very lucky there that he didn't get any damage from that. But wow, I've cursed him again. I've said it. I cursed him in every other race so far this season. But I'm shocked at how massive of a time drop. From second comfortably by, he was nearly 10 seconds clear of the pack behind him. He's now right in the middle of the pack, only just ahead of his teammate, who started down at the back of the field. Yeah, and he's catching back, pretty quickly. But yeah, it's probably his front wing, and in combination with the beat up soft tires, they cost him too much. He had to pit a couple of laps earlier and maybe undercut F1 AMG in the process. Yeah, absolutely. It's really not worked out for Mashiro at the moment. So Jonas at the moment, the only person that hasn't pitted in this race. He's currently running at the front of the field, 4 seconds clear of F1 AMG, who is our net race leader. It's Jan, currently running in second place. Jan, after he obviously came under a little bit of pressure from Simply Superman, he's now 5.5 seconds clear of Simply Superman, who's sliding all over the place. Focky spun at turn 1. I don't know if there was contact between the two of them. Focky was very close behind, but he's come into contact with him or with the wall, and he's broken his front wing. Steve's down the inside. They're going to go side by side up the hill once again. We see another overtake coming up the hill, and Focky's trying to hold it around the outside, but that damage is causing him a lot of understeer. Steve threw into 8th place, and now DV trying to make up for the loss in the pit lane that he's had. He's currently running in 10th, trying to get past Focky. Focky gained so much in the pit lane, but that damage at the front wing and maybe some contact with Simply Superman has dropped him down the field, unfortunately, behind his teammate. But that only promotes Mashiro and Steve up into 7th and 8th, but that is such a shame for Focky that he was running really, really well in this race after a good pit strategy, and it's all just fallen apart for him now. Yeah, and that's what we saw the last races out as well. He had one finish high up on the table, but yeah, overall just good driving from him, and he obviously isn't the fastest in this league, but has some decent pace, and just DV spins and crashes. Wow, and a high-speed spin at the swimming pool chicane. It's such a good start to the race for DV, but it's kind of fallen apart since the pit stops. He dropped so many places. He's going to come into the pit lane. That's a massive amount of front wing damage for the Ferrari man. He comes in. He's going to change his tyres. Amazingly, we haven't had a full safety car in this race yet. We're on lap 17. We're nearly halfway through this race, and we haven't had a full safety car, only the one virtual. F1 AMG, meanwhile, said a 1 minute 12.3. That is a massive lap time, and he's already caught to Jonas. Just goes to show how massive an advantage fresh tyres are around Monaco. He's gained about 4 seconds in a lap and a half onto Jonas in front. These are the top two in the championship, top two in the race at the moment. Jan in third, 10 seconds back. But Jan, even if he does have to pit again, if he can get the guys behind enough, a lot of the guys behind will probably have to pit again because they're on mediums. He's still within a shout of third or second place in this race. Yeah, he definitely is, and maybe he can get stuck behind Simply Superman at all, but then still it's going to be P5 for him, so yeah, he worked himself up in a great position. Absolutely, yeah, after an amazing start, he's thrown himself into this position, and after maybe a little bit of a slow start, he's not really come under pressure since. He's driven away from the guys behind, and obviously the likes of Simply Superman and Thor have got time penalties, so that will come into effect at the end of the race as well. Simply Superman, after gaining a lot in the pit stops, is now struggling for pace. He's got Thor, Birchia and Mashiro. Mashiro is absolutely flying, but he's now on the back of a 4-car queue for 4th place. This is exactly what Mashiro didn't need in this race, is to get stuck in traffic, and he's now at the back of a queue that are fighting so hard for 4th place. Thor and Simply Superman really going at it here. Thor trying to get down the inside of Simply Superman at any opportunity, but again really struggling. Simply Superman has got absolutely no race pace here. He had a great qualifying pace, but it just looks like that he's overheating his tyres too much. He's only done 10 laps on these hards, and his pace has completely fallen off a cliff at this point.
Yeah, we saw it on the mediums as well. He only did 11 laps on his mediums the stint before this, so he's really struggling, and maybe a bit too aggressive on the corner exits.
Yeah.
And what we talked about before the race about Mashiro is happening again. He's behind Birchie. He's really putting the pressure on, and I hope he can keep his patience and go for a good opportunity and not something too opportunistic and screwing his own race again.
Absolutely, yeah, he's got to try and work his way through methodically. He can't get too hot-headed and make too many mistakes in this one. Meanwhile, further down the field, Focky and DV pitted for front wing changes. Focky's in 11th, DV now in 12th. You all know after a drive-through penalty has worked his way back into the top 10. But Wemi, after 2 pit stops in this race for front wing changes, is running in 9th. So he's got decent pace when he hasn't picked up damage in this one. At the front of the field, John is still holding F1AMG up. F1AMG hasn't passed the Williams man at this point, so I think F1AMG knows that he's got a massive gap to the cars behind. He's just not risking a move onto Jonas. He doesn't need to go for it. He's got an 11-second gap back to his teammate in behind, who's running in second on 5-lap older medium tyres. So F1AMG can kind of just sit behind Jonas, wait for Jonas to pit, and then just continue to cruise out in front when he's got free air.
Yeah, Jonas is coming closer quite quickly now, but even though they're on the same team, I think team orders are going to be a thing as well if he can close the gap. But F1AMG is just so fast. If he is patient and waits for Jonas to pit, he's just going to be breezing away again.
Absolutely, yeah. One thing to look out for here to Jonas, he's actually doing a very good job of keeping the same pace as the likes of Thor and Simply Superman. So if Simply Superman and Thor and Birchie Mashiro continue to fight, so Jonas could actually overcut these guys massively. His tyres are obviously 9 laps older than these guys. A lot of these guys pitted before lap 10. Jonas hasn't pitted yet, but he's obviously past the 20 lap point in this race. We're at the halfway point. So Jonas could jump the likes of Simply Superman, Thor, Birchie Mashiro and Steve, all by going nearly 10, maybe 15 laps longer than them in the pit stops.
Yeah, and probably, at least I hope he's going to go for the ultimate strategy and go to the softs in the end of the race. That's the only one.
It looks like the only one really that can pull that strategy off. F1AMG getting closer and closer to the back of the Williams man, who is struggling a little bit for pace now, but he's still matching, like I said, the likes of the guys in the midway through the top 10 at the moment. So he's still on for a good strategy. I think even a fresh set of hard tyres at this point would be a massive advantage for Jonas. I think Jonas will be frustrated that his qualifying so far this season kind of let him down. Apart from Australia, where he qualified at the front of the field, he's not really qualified at the front of the field since, and it's really compromised him. Oh, he clips the wall slightly on the inside of Raskas. I think gets away with it, but now F1AMG is basically pushing him through the last corner. Here comes F1AMG. Is he going to go to the inside? He's going to go to the outside for turn 1. Here he goes, trying to retake the race lead. He's going to breeze around the outside, so Jonas doesn't fight it. Knows they're on different strategies, and F1AMG back into the race lead. A little mistake there from Jonas, and he gives up the race lead on track. It's not really going to compromise his strategy too much, but little cracks in the armour starting to show for Jonas. A bit of a mistake there. Now maybe starting to struggle a bit too much on these tyres. Yeah,
he does, and F1AMG just last races out as well. He's got such good straight line speed on his car. He's such a low downforce setup, probably. Just incredible. He was one little mistake, and before the corner, he already overtook him.
Absolutely, yeah. He must be running. He must be able to compromise on his downforce, because the straight line speed is obviously so high. But it doesn't look to be affecting him at all in this race. Look at that. He's already 2 seconds clear of Jonas after passing him. His pace is incredible. Focky, meanwhile, has made a move on Yono and DV. It looks like he's going to get past Yono as well. Yono's actually been put in the wall by DV, trying to go side by side up the hill, and it's not worked out. He's completely lost his front wing, and that's a virtual safety car for debris on the track. So Yono's going to have to crawl back down to the pit lane and try and replace that front wing and get a new set of tyres on it. That is such a shame for the McLaren driver. His race has really fallen apart today. He started in the top 5, it just hasn't gone swimmingly for him since. and he's down in 12th place, having to replace his front wing. I imagine Jono probably won't be too happy with that one.
No, definitely not. DV a bit too opportunistic, get touched, and he went into the wall, and it's really too bad. I mean, he showed some good pace.
Oh, Steve has picked up a drive through, but Jonas uses the virtual safety car to come into the pit lane, so he's dived in, put a set of hard tyres on. He's going to come up behind Mashiro in 7th place in the end, so he didn't actually jump those guys behind him, which is a shame. He's just going to get out ahead of Steve, is he? He does. Steve and Jonas were on the same strategy, and so Jonas has ended up getting ahead. There's a flag in the middle sector that's Jono's hit the wall actually. Oh. Jono's understeered into the wall it looks like on the way out to back, so he's out of the race. Doesn't look like we're going to get a safety car for it, but that is such a shame for Jono. He's out of the running. He won't be scoring points today. He's along with Flores. Here comes DV on Focky. DV down the inside. Focky turns in, and there's more contact. DV spun around. That was really, really messy from those guys. That was DV down the inside. Focky turning across DV way before the corner. And that's more damage for them. Jono's left the session. DV, I imagine, won't be happy with that one. DV maybe a forceful move on Jono, costing him points. And now Focky's done it is almost given DV a taste of his own medicine. DV round and hits the wall. Focky gets away with no damage. So that surely is going to get investigated by the stewards.
Yeah, it surely is. And this, I was asking for some great overtakes and some opportunistic places where I didn't expect it, but I was hoping for some clean overtaking. When I said that, guys, so please keep it cool.
Absolutely. Steve, meanwhile, he's into the pit lane for his drive-through penalty, so he picked up a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He may fall foul to Buemi. Actually, I think he's just far enough ahead of Buemi to get back out in front of him and keep 8th place. So Steve still going to be running in 8th place at the moment. It's going to be close, but he should be just ahead. And he's on freshest set of hard tyres, so he should have the pace over the Renault man to continue to pull away from him. Yeah, he stays in 8th place for the time being, so he's just ahead of the Renault man. He's got now 16 seconds to clear up to Jonas, so maybe try and close back in. Have to keep an eye on to Jonas here, see what his pace is like, but he's now on the back of Mashiro. Jonas started this race in 11th. Mashiro started this race in 2nd. Mashiro's actually picked up front wing damage. We said it, he didn't want to get too opportunistic. Mashiro's got masses of front wing damage on the left-hand side. That is almost undrivable, the amount of damage he's got. Another mistake from Mashiro. He's going to have to come in and replace the front wing. Mashiro, from an easy 2nd place, looks like he's going to fall out of the top 10 with this damage.
Yeah, he has to.
Oh, he hit the wall again.
Yeah, he's really struggling with that front wing damage, and his biggest enemy isn't F1 AMG. Mashiro's biggest enemy is Mashiro himself.
Yeah, he's staying out. Wow, so Mashiro's staying out with the front wing damage. That cost him so much time at the start of the race, the damage that he had, and again he's continuing on even with the damage. It doesn't look worth it. He's already dropped off the back of Virtue, who's dropping off the back of Thor and Simply Superman. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, F1 AMG 17 seconds clear of his teammate. F1 AMG is nearly a pit stop ahead of his teammate again, and Sojournis goes all the way around the outside of Mashiro. I know Mashiro has front wing damage, but once again, Sojournis, a brilliant move. Casper's gone straight on at Mirabeau and has hit the wall and retired from the session. We don't have a safety car for that one. But Sojournis round the outside of Mashiro, struggling with damage, and he's through and up into 6th place. We've got a virtual safety car for Casper's car, but what a move from Sojournis. That's more like it. That's the kind of overtakes we want to see. He's up into 6th place, and he's now going to be on the back of this battle for 3rd.
Yeah, and even though with Mashiro having front wing damage, just great overtaking. It really looks easy when you see it, but it's so difficult on this track. So yeah, hats off for T. Jonas, and slowly he's getting some places again.
Absolutely, yeah, starting to make up more places. Steve with the drive-through penalty for dropping further back is now ahead of the other Red Bull of Mashiro with the damage and an amazing move at the top of the hill. He gets up into 6th. He'll be on the back of Birch, Thor and Simply Superman. Birch is on 16 lap old medium tyres at this point, so he's going to be massively struggling for pace in the Haas car. He's doing a good job despite a poor start to the race. He's doing a good job of running in the top 5. This is kind of what we've seen from Birch all season, really. He's not quite had the pace, but he's ended up in the top 5 in a lot of races just through to clean and tidy races in the end. Focky kicks up a drive-through penalty for speeding behind the virtual safety car. I think another driver got it. Mashiro's hit the wall again on that left-hand side coming out of turn 1. He's going to pick up even more damage. Surely he's going to have to come into the pit lane, otherwise he's going to get caught by his teammate at this rate. Look how much understeer he's got at the top of the hill when he's just dropped 1.5 seconds further behind Jonas in one corner. So Mashiro's going to have to come into the pits at this point.
Yeah, he definitely has to. I mean, he's just risking ending his own race because he's got so much understeer, and just pit and hope for another safety car. It's still Monaco. And Tol as well, he had a bad start, but he's up into P4 again, and well, doing pretty good, catching Simply Superman, staying behind him, not doing some crazy stuff, and yeah, great racing from him, great comeback.
Absolutely, yeah, great comeback from Thor. Simply Superman running in third, Thor in fourth at the moment. Bircher in fifth, under pressure from Tejonis. Remember, Bircher, Simply Superman picks up a time penalty. Bircher and Tejonis, I don't think, have a time penalty in this race, so they're currently actually battling for third on the podium. The two guys in front both have at least 2 penalties, so Bircher and Tejonis will jump the pair of them at this point. So this is kind of the net battle for third in this race. So if Tejonis can get third from 11th on the grid at Monaco, that is some sort of feat. He'll be so disappointed that his qualifying performance has been pretty poor since Australia. Someone's picked up damage actually at turn 1. Mishiro's into the pit lane to replace that front wing. Mishiro's actually retired from the session, unfortunately, so it looks like he's given up the ghost. He's not going to continue on in this race. Like you said, Mishiro's biggest enemy so far this season has been Mishiro, and I think that's the 3rd race this season out of 4 where Mishiro's had almost an easy set podium and he's thrown it away through his own mistakes.
Yeah, he did, and yeah, I can understand. I mean, you get points for even finishing P19, but I can understand his frustration. It just doesn't click for him. Some minor mistakes, and yeah, just fighting Mashiro.
Absolutely, yeah. Mashiro fighting himself, really. It's such a shame to see. Last season's Division 2 champion just hasn't had the start to the season that he's wanted, and he's almost looking like he's out of the championship running already. I know it's early in the season, but F1 AMG's pace so far this season has been so incredible, and Tejonis has been so consistent that it looks like they're just the runaway 2 in this championship at the moment. F1 AMG, speaking of him, he is now 20 seconds clear of his teammate. I know we said it last time out that F1 AMG's pace was at Zandvoort, and that his pace at Vietnam was crazy, and that he showed really good racecraft in Australia. But I don't know how many levels this man can keep stepping up. He's so much faster than the rest of the field today.
Yeah, it's incredible. Not only his qualification, but especially his race pace is so good and fast. Yeah, for sure he's gonna just move up to Division 2 after this season, and I think he's gonna do good there as well with the race pace he has.
Yeah, with the race pace he has, he could definitely be a contender to Division 2 if he gets moved up. He might get moved up at any point this season or next season, so we'll look out for that one, but he could still be really competitive in Division 2, like you say. Buemi, meanwhile, has made a move on Steve, so despite being on 17-lap-old medium tyres, Buemi's worked his way up into 7th place. He's 18 seconds off the queue of cars in front, so I don't imagine he'll get any further than that, barring any sort of safety cars late in this race. We are on lap 28. Isotopics into the pit lane for, I think, the 3rd time in this race, unfortunately. But yeah, Buemi, despite getting 2 front wing changes in this race and starting dead last, he's up to 7th. What a comeback from the Renault man.
Yeah, incredible comeback. 2 wing changes. Yeah, he is 18 seconds off to Jonas and probably not going to catch him, and maybe has to pit again. But yeah, great comeback from him, and promising for future races.
Absolutely, yeah, very promising if he continues on in this season. That he's definitely got good race pace. Just has to try and hook it up throughout the entire race and through qualifying as well. Looking further in front, so John is now a little bit stuck behind Bircher. Thor's crawling all over the back of Simply Superman, but just cannot find a way past at the moment. Thor's running with absolutely no ERS at all. Meanwhile, just looking at ERS usage, both Mercedes are running near 80%. Just goes to show how much they're cruising at the moment. They're just not pushing. They're driving very neat within themselves, and it's paying off at the moment. Simply Superman running with a lot less, as is Thor, as is Bircher. Actually, Bircher running with about 60%, and then it's Jonas running about 25 as well. So in this battle, it is really Bircher that has the advantage in terms of ERS, and with the ERS management that he's done so far in this race and the track position he's doing a good job at beating Jonas to 3rd place at the moment.
Yeah, he is, and I believe he doesn't have a penalty still, but yeah, just doing great, and he just keeps his head cool now after his bad quali, and yeah, driving around P5, and maybe if he has a good exit on the last corner, he can challenge Thor.
Absolutely,
Thor
yeah.
is really putting the pressure on Simply Superman.
On Buemi, just as we were talking about how good his race was going, he's hit the wall coming out of the swimming pool, and we've had our 3rd, I think, virtual safety car of this race. That's our 3rd virtual safety car. We've not had a full safety car, amazingly, but again, another virtual. Buemi out of the race from 7th place. That is such a shame for him. Steve is into the pit lane for the 3rd time, I think, in this race to change his front wing, put a set of medium tyres on, maybe go for the fastest lap, which is currently held by F1 AMG. A 1 minute 12.3 is the fastest lap in this race. That could could be beaten. Let's see whether he comes out ahead of Focky. It might be very, very close. I think Focky might actually just beat Steve out, so Steve's going to lose the place to the Hassman, unfortunately. But yeah, just as we were saying at the front of the field, it's been so dominant for Mercedes today. But Bircher doing a good job of holding on to the back of Thor, maybe getting close enough. The thing here is for Bircher is that if you mix Bircher's consistency and level-headedness with Mashiro's pace, that's basically F1 AMG. F1 AMG is a mix between Bircher and Mashiro, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. really love how you put it together.
It really is a hybrid of the two. It is F1 AMG, because he's so level-headed, is Bircher, and he just I haven't seen really Bircher make a mistake so far this season. He's not quite had the pace, but he's had such a consistent season so far that he's thrown himself into the top 3 in the championship just through being that consistent. And Mashiro's had great pace throughout the season, it just hasn't worked, so combine the two, you get F1 AMG. Meanwhile, further up front, again, Thor is crawling all over the back of Simply Superman. It's been like this pretty much the entire race, but Thor cannot get past that racing point. He has a look down the inside of Mirabeau, but again, not close enough. We've got one of the Alpha Tauris moving out of the way. That's Sean moving out of the way for people he's a lap down at the moment. Thor, look at that, pushing Simply Superman through the Lowe's hairpin. Simply Superman struggling at the moment. He's actually catching Jan in front. These two are both catching Jan. Jan obviously not running with any sort of penalty, so he's safe in P2 for the time being. Barring any punctures, we've still got 10 laps to go in this race, so he would have done 30 laps on a set of mediums. That would be a great feat if he can pull that one off. That is... I bet Thor at this point must be feeling so frustrated. He has a look down the inside to back. That would have been an amazing move if he can pull it off, but he's not close enough. He's trying to force Simply Superman into a mistake. Fair enough from Simply Superman. He's struggling for pace, but he's not made a mistake. He's not put a foot wrong so far. And he's doing a great defensive drive. But again, Thor is crawling all over the back of him up to Raskas. So John is having a look down the inside of Bircher at Raskas, but there's not enough room for two cars. Bircher nearly runs into the wall, but just about keeps out of it. So Jonas holds on to P6 for the time being. Can't get past. Once again, Thor trying to use his overtake to get past Simply Superman. Does he look to the inside? He's again not close enough into Sandoval. And neither is Jonas on Bircher. So for another lap, they stay in the same order. Thor is trying everything he can at every corner, but still, Simply Superman won't crack under pressure and is holding on to P3.
Yeah, just Simply Superman is so cool-headed. We saw it last race as well. He's so good in defending, and obviously it's a really narrow track here, but he just keeps his head cool and doesn't make a mistake, and that's pretty incredible.
It is pretty incredible to see Simply Superman doing such a good job. He struggled quite a bit really in Vietnam for pace. Steve's done a 1 minute 12.2, so he has stolen the fastest lap away from our race leader, but only by a tenth of a second. Bearing in mind that F1 AMG's tyres are 17 laps old now, I don't think we'll see anyone steal that apart from maybe one of the soft runners at the back of the field. Thor run into the back of Simply Superman coming out of the chicane there. He was so much faster. They're still slightly closing in on Jan in front. F1 AMG's lead is now 26 seconds. If F1 AMG wants that fastest lap, he can come in, put a fresh set of soft tyres on and still be in the lead of this race.
Yeah, incredible. And I was just on board with Jan, and on his 22 laps old mediums, he doesn't seem to struggle a bit. So props for him for keeping his tyres in such good conditions.
Absolutely, yeah, he's definitely done a good job. He's been running in second a lot of this race, and it does look like that he knows he hasn't got a lot of threat from behind because of them battling so much. So he's just kept it nice and tidy, not pushed too hard, and made sure that he's kept his tyres in good nick, which is exactly what you need to do at Monaco, and it's paid off for him at the moment. This will be Jan's best result of the season and a massive confidence booster for him after struggling at the start of the season, not quite mirroring the pace he had in the pre-season race. He's definitely picked it up here today. Further in behind, we've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. That's Sean that spun by the looks of things at the Lowe's hairpin. I don't know if he had contact from Isotopic. He's actually facing the complete wrong way and is retired on track, unfortunately, at Lowe's hairpin. I wonder if we get our fourth virtual safety car of the race for that one, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that. But yeah, Sean facing the wrong way at Lowe's hairpin, maybe under contact with Isotopic, but again, another person struggling to finish this race and just not having a nice, clean, consistent race. Not what we're used to seeing from Sean, but that's again our sixth retirement.
Oh, there he is, full.
Oh, is he going down the inside? He's going around the outside of Raskas. He's really trying it. Around the outside of the last corner, Simply Superman still defending the line. And again, Thor doesn't have the ERS to attack. And look how much he's struggling for rear grip coming out the final corner. He can't get the power down, which means he's not close enough to turn one. Thor is trying everything, and fair enough, but he just can't get the move stuck. He's still stuck behind. Jonas, meanwhile, is he going to try and move like he did on Mashiro at the top of the hill? He's not got any overtake to use. He's trying to look maybe around the outside. Jonas has picked up some front wing damage somewhere. So he's obviously run into the wall or run into the back of Bircher at some point in the last few laps. He's struggling with front wing damage. Bircher doesn't have any, but he's on 25 lap old medium tyres as Bircher. I'm amazed he hasn't got a puncture at this point. But yeah, Jonas sticks in 6th place for the time being, and Thor still trying everything to get past, but it's just not working.
Yeah, Jonas and Thor really putting the pressure on. I mean, Bircher's hold up as well a bit by Thor, but Thor was so, yeah, just great. He tried it there. Simply Superman gave him the room, didn't put him in the wall, which is pretty easy if you turn in too late there when someone's on your outside.
Ooh. Jonas with the time penalty. So Jonas picks up his first time penalty of the race. If he continues to fall behind with Bircher, that could save Simply Superman or Thor maybe a place in this race. We'll have to wait and see whether they can get further in front. I think if Thor can pass Simply Superman, he'd be up and gone at this point. He's really much faster. Jonas actually sends it down the inside of Raskas on Bircher, gets the move stuck. What a move, an opportunistic move from Jonas. It looked clean as well. He's dived down the inside of Raskas and made the move stick on Bircher. That Charles Leclerc-esque kind of move there from Jonas. Is up into 5th place. Maybe he can now challenge the people running in 3rd and 4th and maybe put some more pressure on and force them into a mistake.
Yeah, he probably is. I mean, he's on 12th lap old hard, so enough tire left on his car. And Tol and Simply Superman are really battling. So yeah, and Bircher just 26 laps old mediums. Just great, he's still here and driving around on them. So no shame in being passed by Jonas there.
Absolutely not. I'm amazed he's still going. And see if he can get to the end of the race on these tyres. He's got a 30-second gap back to his teammate. Thor picks up another time penalty on the inside of the chicane, so that's going to cost him even more places at this point. It's going to cost him now to Jonas and Bircher. He was just far enough, I think, ahead of Bircher maybe to keep 5th place in this race, but he might drop to 6th because of that. Meanwhile, top 2, F1 AMG, 30.5 seconds ahead of his teammate. F1 AMG currently going through Portier. Jan's just crossed the line. That is an incredible lead.
Yeah, it's too short. I wanted to say if he keeps this up, he's gonna lap him, but that's not gonna happen. But yeah, great, 30 seconds on his teammate, and incredible from Mercedes overall this race.
Absolutely, yeah. Both drivers had an incredible race. It just goes to show how good F1 AMG's pace is. It almost averaging nearly a second a lap faster than anyone else at the moment. Just incredible pace from the Mercedes man. No damage. So consistent. We said that maybe there was some cracks showing in the armour because of the crash he had in qualifying. I think maybe he just needed to get his crash out of the way, because since then I don't think he's even touched a wall in this race. It's been so clean from him. Despite being so fast, it's been so clean as well, which is we've not quite seen from a lot of other people. A lot of other people have struggled for pace and ended up putting it in the wall. So F1 AMG has not done that and has kept the pace up and kept it clean, which is so rare to see at Monaco. And honestly, it's just an incredible performance.
Yeah, it is. I mean, being fast is one thing, but keeping it clean throughout the season. I mean, it's not a really long season so far, but yeah, just great stuff from him.
Absolutely, yeah. We're right on board with Thor once again, trying to get a move stuck on Simply Superman for 3rd on the road, but it's just not working out for him. It's been 36 laps in this race and he still hasn't passed the Racing Point man. He must be so frustrated that he had a poor start and a bit of a mistake on lap 1, putting behind Simply Superman, and he's been stuck there ever since. He hasn't been able to get past in the pit stops either, so I have to wait and see if he can get past. So Jonas has caught these guys now. He's within a second. Bircher's dropped way back on those medium tyres. I think he's just cruising, trying to get to the end of the race at this point with those 28 lap old medium tyres. Steve picks up a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, unfortunately. I think he may be coming in to maybe try and get the fastest lap again and secure that one and try and secure that fastest lap for the end of the race. F1 AMG starts lap 37. We've got 3 laps to go in this one. Meanwhile, F1 AMG is actually coming up to lap Focky, I believe, which is 7th place on the road, so that's incredible to see. Simply Superman again holding off Thor at the moment. Thor still can't get past. So Jonas is on the back of these guys, but he has got front wing damage, so he's a little bit hindered. Bircher's really losing pace at this point. He's got absolutely no grip left on those mediums, and his tyres are only 2 laps older than Jan. So if Jan does use up his tyres too much at the end, Jan could be heading for the same fate as Bircher here. Bircher is nearly 2, maybe 3 seconds a lap slower than the guys in front of him now.
Yeah, it's really slowing down, but Jan has that free air throughout this whole stint, so that's probably
Oh,
again.
Thor's trying to go for a move. He's down the inside. He's got the goal. Oh, and there's contact. The curve of the straight has meant that Thor has had contact with Simply Superman. Simply Superman that time round didn't leave enough space for the Alfa Romeo man. And it's come to that 37. It's come to a head, and the Alfa Romeo man of Thor has ended up in the wall. He's got front wing damage as well. Oh, and he's locked up and gone straight on at Mirabeau as well. He's hit the wall. He's going to come out behind Bircher now. He's going to drop behind him. What a shame for Thor, running in fourth for pretty much all this race. It's been such a good performance for him, but once again, contact with someone else late in the race is going to cost him a good result. That is such a shame to see. For Thor, he's dropped down to 6th and may drop further than that still.
Yeah, too bad. He was having a great race and just a little bit too impatient. I was on board with him a couple of laps. He was beginning to struggle on the corner exits with his rear tires and looking left and right to pass Simply Superman, which is almost impossible as we have seen the last couple of races.
Absolutely, yeah. Simply Superman just seems to be the bus of the season at the moment, doesn't he? He has good pace, but it's almost impossible to overtake Simply Superman around any track so far that he's raced at. So, Jonas is next to line up. We're on lap 38 of this race. We've only got a lap and a half to go. At least for F1 AMG, that is. It's 2 laps of everyone else. Jonas on the back of the Racing Point man. At this point, though, Jonas will take third based on penalties. Thor's into the pit lane to replace his front wing. He might drop behind Focky because of that. Unfortunately, he should be safe to DV further behind. And Thor could end up being lapped by the Mercedes man of F1 AMG coming onto the final lap. We'll have to see whether he can keep ahead and maybe set the fastest lap on the final lap of the race. Wait and see. Jonas, even though he's on the back of Simply Superman, he could go for an overtake, but just based on penalties alone, Jonas will take third place in this race, which is an incredible feat from 11th on the grid.
Yeah, it is. It is, and if I was him, I would just stay behind Simply Superman. He's not really that slow. He's not losing time to Jan, so just be patient, stay behind him for the last lap, and don't risk your race like Paul did in the end.
Absolutely, yeah, that is the key maybe to take away. Just stick behind the Racing Point man. There's only a lap to go now, so he can just get to the end. Meanwhile, Steve has set the fastest lap of the race again. It's a 12 flat on a set of soft tyres. So he's trying to hold that fastest lap to the end. Thor, meanwhile, has come out actually behind F1 AMG, so he's not going to have the opportunity to set the fastest lap of the race because he will be a lap down coming across the line. F1 AMG is coming through to the final sector now. Jonas is actually going to go round the outside of Sandoval once again. Just caught the end of it for Jonas. Didn't listen to his Thor's retired from the race. Unfortunately, he's hit the wall. It looks like maybe down into the chicane. But Jonas didn't want to wait behind Simply Superman. He caught up to the back of him and breezed around the outside of Sandoval. Jonas has put a masterclass on of overtaking today. Round the outside in every overtaking opportunity he's had so far. Up into third on the road. What a performance from Jonas.
Yeah, exceptional overtaking from him today. Really, unfortunately,
sorry to butt in, but F1 AMG has crossed the line. He's already finished. That's how quickly the race has ended. Oh, we completely missed that. F1 AMG is going to cross the line and win round 4 of the season. It's his second race win of the season, I believe, actually third, I think, at this point of the season. So great stuff from F1 AMG. He takes the win today at Monaco. We've still got to wait for Jan, who's only just entered the third sector of the lap. But what a performance it's been from Jan as well. We obviously talk about F1 AMG's great performance, but both Mercedes have had brilliant performances in this race. From 7th on the grid after an amazing start, Jan's held on to second place throughout the race. 30 laps on a set of medium tyres. Well done to him. He crosses the line in second place, 37 seconds off his teammate in the end. So Jonas will take third place ahead of Simply Superman in 4th. Put up a good defence, but didn't quite work out in the end. Birch is going to come across the line in 5th, but jump ahead of Simply Superman. So Birch was able to get back within penalty range of Simply Superman and take 4th place away from him. Focky is going to cross the line in 6th place. He's going to be the last person to cross the line. DV, Steve and Isotopic have crossed the line, but they were all a lap down. So Focky, the last person on the lead lap, has a massive slide coming out of Raskas as he comes up to cross the line. 27 seconds behind Simply Superman in the end. Good performance in the end, kind of coming back from him after contact early in the race, but not the result he would have wanted. But yeah, I don't think I've said it enough in this race, but Mercedes won too. That is a perfect race for them.
It is. The only thing we're missing here is a Max Verstappen who can challenge them.
Absolutely, yeah. It's almost like Mercedes real life.
Yeah.
It really is. It is like Mercedes real life. It does feel like Jonas is Verstappen at the moment. He's got great pace, but it's just not close enough to challenge F1 AMG at the front. And obviously qualifying there has really let him down. That's something that he's going to want to work on for next time out.
Yeah, he does. I mean, if he can pull this off after a relatively bad qualifying, just imagine what he could have done if he qualified up within the first 5.
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely could have fought Jan for second place. He definitely could have been up in second place on the podium. It would have been a difficult challenge to try and fight F1 AMG. Just how fast F1 AMG in this race was insane to believe, but we'll have to wait and see whether Jonas can bounce back next time out. With next round is obviously Canada, another completely different track to this one, another street circuit this season, but more strategy opportunities there. Maybe a two-stop might be the key strategy at Canada, but here are the final finishing results. Then it's F1 AMG who wins the race by 37 seconds. What a performance from F1 AMG today. Jan in second in the other Mercedes, perfect for them. They will take a 1-2, the second 1-2 for a team this season after Renault's 1-2 at Vietnam. So Jonas will take third on the podium once again, ahead of Birchett in fourth. Good result for him. He will keep third in the championship standing. Simply Superman in fifth, ahead of Focky in sixth. DV in seventh on debut, who ends up finishing in seventh, ahead of Steve in eighth. Isotopic, the last finisher in the end, in ninth place. Not really the race he would have wanted after his first podium last time out. Thor retired very near to the end of the race after running in P4 for the majority of the race. He couldn't finish. He's down in 10th place. Sean, Buemi, Mashiro, Casper, and Yono and Flores all retired from this race. A lot of big names there retiring. Thor, Mashiro, Buemi, Yono. Big opportunities for them that could have finished in the top 5, all out of the race very early on.
Yeah, really sad to see, but yeah, that's Monaco. A lot of retirements, but a lot of big names, and yeah. Besides that, yeah, I really feel bad for Toll. He had a great race, and just one move too opportunistic, and it was over for him.
Absolutely, yeah, that one move, he hadn't really made a mistake all race until that point, and it just didn't go well for him at the end. It all really fell apart, which is such a shame to see. And obviously, got to feel bad for him. Shiro, once again, a good opportunity to take a podium this season, and it's fallen apart. No points once again for the Red Bull man. He'll be absolutely gutted not to walk away with any points from that race. And in the end, F1 AMG, at this point, with Jonas in third and another win for F1 AMG, he will have a massive lead going into the round 5 of the season.
Yeah, he does, and a couple of contenders for P1 weren't here today, so it's just gonna get everyone so big.
Absolutely, yeah. At this point, it almost is just a 2-horse race really between Jonas and F1 AMG. F1 AMG will have, I believe, about a 20-point lead going into Canada, which is a massive lead in the championship this early on in the season. Jonas in second, and they will be so far clear of Birchett, who'll be in third, and then it's a massive battle behind Birchett for fourth. But they will be, they will have less than half the points of our championship leader, and they'll be battling for fourth in the standings.
Yeah, incredible. That's just dominance all over.
Absolutely, yeah. I think if F1 AMG's championship stranglehold, if he wasn't a championship favourite before this race, I think almost he's almost put one hand on it at this point with the performance he's had today. We never know what can happen the rest of the season. It could all fall apart for him, so we'll have to wait and see what he can do. Just before we end the stream today, though, I think I know who you're going to say, but who's going to be your driver of the day today?
Okay, just let me ask you this: who do you think I'm going to choose?
I was going to say F1 AMG, but I think you'll go for someone different. So I think you're going to say Jan, I think.
Yeah, well, to be fair, to be honest, there's a couple of guys. Yeah, F1 AMG really, it's the boring choice, but he did really good. It was 38 seconds behind in front of P2. Birchett did great. Qualified P8, finished P4 on 32 lap old mediums, but I have to go for T. Jonas today.
Absolutely, yeah, 11th to 3rd in that race on an alternate strategy. Good drive from him. Made use of the virtual safety car, was able to fight his way through into an amazing overtakes today. He definitely takes candidate for driver of the day. I think I'm going to have to go for Jan, though. I think, obviously, I don't want to go for the boring choice and say F1 AMG, and I've given him too many accolades today. I think I've boosted his ego enough. If he watches his stream back, I think it's just basically an F1 AMG fanboy club today from me. But yeah. I think I'm gonna have to give it to Jan, though, because Jan has struggled quite a lot this season. He had a good pre-season, but he's just struggled to match that so far, and this has by far been his best race of the season. This will be a massive confidence booster for him going into Canada.
Yeah, it is. It is overall as well. Just great job from him finishing P2. It was quite a long, quite far behind his teammate, but just yeah, he just did his thing and drove his own race in the end. Great job.
Absolutely, yeah. Didn't fall foul of falling into other people's traps with strategies and not really getting caught up in any incidents. So good job from Jan to get second on his first podium of the season. But that is where we're going to round up the stream today. Continuing to tune into League Racing TV for the rest of the week. We've got Division 4 and 5 on tomorrow. Conti, you'll be racing tomorrow at Monaco, I believe, unless you might want to change your mind after watching today's race. But I think
No, no, I'm not racing tomorrow. I've got a family thing tomorrow, so I won't be there. But really wanted to. I mean, it's great, Monaco.
absolutely, Monaco is such a highlight of the calendar. It's a shame you won't be able to race. But yeah, Division 4 and 5 will be on tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So you can watch those tomorrow live. This time tomorrow, yeah. You can watch back Division 2 as well. That was on while we were racing today as well. So watch back the Division 2 stream. See who won that race. And on Saturday, we've got CRC LMP3 and then CRC IndyCar on Sunday at 8 PM. And then next week, Esports Masters League is back. So it is back for the first round of the season at Australia. That'll be on Wednesday instead of Formula 2. We're running one a month this time round, and we're running at Australia. We've got the Premier League at 8:30 and League One at 7 o'clock. So tune into those next week. That's going to be really, really exciting to watch and commentate over for myself on League One as well. So that's the rest of the week and the start of next week for League Racing TV. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone for commenting on the stream. Thank you everyone for racing. Thank you to Conti for joining me in the commentary box. And we will see you again this time next week. From Conti and myself, it is goodbye.